what I wanted to do. So firstly, again, I'm sorry that it was such late notice. But I just thought, let's get going. Otherwise, we just keep like delaying and delaying. And at the end of the day, we've got to try and learn and do as much as we can. I've also started learning with Gabriel, and please God, all our learning will be in the merit of Yitzhak Yehuda. But there's a specific segula. It's not clear. I try to see it more. There's a specific segula around kinim. It might be because it's so complicated, and even like generally Mishnahs, you can kind of like go through and you can understand them, and they're quite simple, at least on a superficial level. Whereas kinim is just really, really hard. So it might be just the breaking, the amelus in that Torah is the thing that is the segula in itself. Whatever it is, please God, it should be a segula, and it should be well, and we should just have a soros tovos. Okay. So let's see what we can try and understand in it. If you look at the Mishnah, I sent that material around. That the Mishnah is going to present itself just around the different types of olot and different type of things. So I just want to give a very basic introduction. The concept of kinim. If we speak about a kantzipor, ki kare kantzipor lefanecha. You find a kantzipor. A kantzipor is this a nest of a bird. But the concept of kinim really is a collection of birds. That's really what it means, what it specifically refers to, and what it's talking about in the context of the Mishnah are different types of bird offerings. And remember, bird offerings can't be brought by everybody. A bird offering is not a public offering, but rather a bird offering has to be brought firstly from one of two birds. Either it can be a pigeon, or it can be a ben yonah, or it can be a turtle dove. It can't be anything else. And it's brought for by a number of people specifically. Okay, number one, a person who does one of those terrible aveiras that are brought down. Okay, but it's a chatas, and they're too poor to bring an animal. Remember, we are so unused to the concept of doing tshuva using a korban, but if you remember that they used to, if you did a korban, you needed to bring a chatas, a specific type of offering, of a sin offering. You had to bring an animal, but if you couldn't bring an animal, and you couldn't even bring the grain offerings, you could just go and find yourself a bird. The bird was one way. Then after a woman gives childbirth, she can also bring that. A zav or a zava on becoming tahor also would bring a korban of a bird. And Nazir becomes tameh because of contact with a human corpse. Remember, a Nazir is not allowed actually to come into contact with a human corpse, and if he does, then he has to do a whole process of tahara, and part of that is the bringing of this bird. And a matzora who cannot afford an animal chatas upon becoming tahor. A matzora is this person who either spoke Lashon Hara or whatever the case is, became got tzaraat, and now they need to do their process of becoming tahor again. And so they too have to, if they don't have the money, then they can bring the korban. So those are the different types of birds. Now in these birds, there are two types of birds. There's a korban chatas and a korban oila. And those become complicated because those in themselves are executed in different ways. So, for example, on the simple level, and that's what our Mishna is going to speak about. There's the concept of haza'ah. Haza'ah is once you've killed the bird, and you do that, you kill the bird when it comes to to the chatas. What you do is you kill the bird by using the Kohen uses his thumbnail, and what he does is he cuts one part of one of the pipes in the neck of the bird, and from there the blood comes out, and he sprinkles that blood. I know it's a bit grim, but go with it. He sprinkles that blood onto directly from the neck of the bird, without collecting it into a vessel, and directly onto the side of the mizbeach. Okay, so that's the one way. When it comes to chatas, Sorry, when it comes to an oila, and he doesn't do it over one of the tubes, but he does it the whole neck. So there are all these different ways in what's going to happen. Because they're different ways, it also means that there are different ways in which we actually have to activate the korban. So that's really the introduction, a basic introduction. Another one aspect into the introduction, which is important for our Mishnah, is that all of the laws that we're going to look at are derived out of the psukim. But they're very unclear in the psukim, and because they're very unclear, so therefore the Mishnah comes to bring clarity, and the clarity sometimes isn't as clear as we'd like it to be because of the nature of the difficulty of the material. As I said, I think that it could be that is the reason why it's become as a segula. I'm sure there are a lot of other much more deep reasons, but it's just very difficult. It's a very hard, complicated masechta. So let's start going through. I'm not going to do the whole Mishnah. We've already been learning for a few minutes. I want to just look at the first couple of lines so that we can take those first couple of lines and just go home with having done something in the Mishnah. So the first part of the Mishnah says the following: Chatas ha'oif. The chatas. So it's the korban chatas. So this is the sin offering bird. Okay, nasis lamata. Has to be done. So it's talking about the sprinkling of the blood has to be done lamata, which means below. And the korban chatas of the behema of an animal is done lamaila. So what's it below and above? So on the altar, on the mizbeach, there was this chut hasikra, this like red line, which delineated the halfway point. So there's an above the halfway point and below the halfway point. And all of these things, again, are deduced from different psukim. And so what the Mishnah now states is very simple. When you bring the off, what you have to do is you've got to make sure that you sprinkle the blood lamata, below the line of the chut hasikra, and oila sa'of na'aseh lamaila, oila sabayim lamata, and the oila sa'of, and when you bring an oila off as a complete offering. So the chatas, remember, is a offering that is normally eaten by people, right? Whereas an oila is an offering that is completely burnt up. So when you bring the oila offering, so that one is nasis lamata, that is done above the chut hasikra, oila sabayim lamata, and the oila of the behema is done underneath. So the commentaries just point out, by the way, there's quite a lot of noise in this Mishnah because it compares the chatas of the off and the chatas of the behema, as well as the oil of the off and the oil of the behema. The commentaries explain that the reason that they bring the oil of the behema, which has got nothing to do with kinim whatsoever, is very simply because once you're already saying where you got to do the off, you might as well just bring the behema, put it behind you, and then move on, which is what we're going to do. So we'll focus, please God, on continuing with that, because it says Mishna bazeh bazeh pasul. If you make a mistake, if you change the order and you don't do the chatas offering of the bird lamata below and the oila offering of the bird above, so then it's pasul. Then in actual fact, the whole korban will be pasul. So will be negated. So let's stop there for today, and please God, we'll carry on tomorrow and learning a little bit more. Have a good day, guys, and for joining.
Thank you.
I will start. I will, for everyone. If you can make it, you can't make it. I'll still go through it. I'll post it as a link to YouTube, and yeah, if you can learn, it'll be lekker. Okay. God bless, guys.
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks,